CIET NCERT presents audiobook Curiosity, Textbook of Science for Grade 7.
Page number 137, Chapter number 10, Life Processes in Plants. On the right-hand side of this page, a QR code is given, on scanning to which you can get access to the other resources related to this chapter. In grade 6, we learnt that all living beings grow and need food for their growth. Also, in the previous chapter, we discussed the process through which animals obtain nutrition. We know that animals eat food to grow, but what about plants? Have you ever seen plants eating food like animals do? As animals grow, their size and weight usually increase, and their bodies undergo various changes. What changes do you notice in plants when they grow? We learned that food provides nutrients like carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals, which along with water are all essential for growth. Let us explore how plants obtain nutrients for their growth. Children, at the bottom of this page, a picture is provided. 4 students, 2 girls and 2 boys, are standing and conversating under a big-sized, old and green tree. This is a banyan tree. Page number 138. 10.1. How do plants grow? Look around your neighborhood. Have you observed any changes in a plant during its lifespan? As a plant grows, new leaves and branches emerge. Its height increases and its stem thickens. What do you think causes these changes? Discuss with your friends and provide your explanation as well. At the middle of this page, there is a conversation among 4 friends. First says, "When we water plants regularly, they grow better. So, I think water also contributes to its growth." The second girl says, "I think sunlight plays some role in the growth of plants." Third girl says, "Maybe plants take up food from the soil through their roots." Now, the fourth boy is thinking and saying, "I think maybe blank space plays some role." Children, you can fill this blank space on your own. Let us perform an experiment to test some of these explanations. Activity 10.1. Let us test some explanations. Step 1. Take 3 earthen pots or used bottles or containers of the same size filled with garden soil. Plant saplings of similar sizes of a fast-growing plant like chili or tomato in each pot, as given in figure 10.1. On the left-hand side, figure 10.1, experimental setup to understand the role of sunlight and water in plant growth is given in 3 parts. Part A. Pot A kept in direct sunlight with water. B. Pot B kept in direct sunlight without water. C. Pot C kept in the dark with water. Step 2 of the activity. Label the pots A, B and C. Step 3. Count the number of leaves on each sapling and record your observations. Step 4. Place pot A in direct sunlight. Keep the soil in this pot slightly moist by adding an adequate amount of water every day. Figure 10.1a. Step 5. Place pot B in direct sunlight without adding water to the soil, as given in figure 10.1b. Page number 139. Step number 6. Place pot C in the dark. Keep the soil in this pot slightly moist by adding an adequate amount of water every day, as given in figure 10.1c. Step 7. Observe the plants for 2 weeks and record changes in their height, number of leaves, color of leaves, and any other changes that may appear. Step 8. Record your observations in Table 10.1. Table 10.1. Effect of sunlight and water on plant growth. This table consists of 5 major columns and 3 rows. This table compares the growth of 3 plants in various conditions. Column 1 says pots kept under different conditions. Pot A in direct sunlight with water. Pot B in direct sunlight without water. Pot C in the dark with water. Column 2 availability of sunlight and water. Column 3 height of plant in centimeters on day 1 and after 2 weeks. Column 4 number of leaves on day 1 and after 2 weeks. Column 5 color of leaves, green or yellow. Students may record their observations for these 3 cases as pot A, pot B and pot C, which are written under column 1. Blank spaces are provided for all the columns. Step 9. What differences did you observe between the plants in the 3 pots? Step 10. Which pot has the plant with the maximum growth? Step 11. Which pot has the plant with the least growth? Analyze the observations recorded in Table 10.1 and discuss them with your teacher and friends. You are likely to find that the plant in pot A kept in direct sunlight with adequate water grows better than the plant in pot C, which gets adequate water but no sunlight. The plant in pot B may have died as it did not get water even though it received adequate sunlight. What do you infer from the observations made in this activity? The results indicate that plants require both sunlight and water for their growth. At the bottom of this page, here one message is given for teachers. This experiment will need 2 weeks. Teachers can plan this activity accordingly. Page number 140. At the top of this page, an interesting box titled as Fascinating Facts is provided. In this box, a quote in Sanskrit is written, Fal kusum sampaduchita ropanato bhavati kevalanan yatah. This means trees do not produce fruits and flowers merely because they are planted. This line is from an ancient Indian text named Vriksha Ayurveda. It records useful observations about plant growth, soil, and agricultural practices to help improve crop health, growth, and production. The knowledge in the text seems to be based on practical experiences and patterns seen over time. These ideas were then systematically documented to guide farming practices. For instance, there are references to different methods of organic manure preparation, such as mixing water, barley, and various seeds like green, black, and horse grams. 10.2 How do plants get food for their growth? We know that animals get their food from plants either directly by eating plants or indirectly by eating animals that in turn eat plants for their nutrition and growth. But how do plants obtain the food they need to grow? Unlike animals, plants do not eat food. 10.2.1 Leaves, the food factories of plants. Plants store food in the form of starch, a type of carbohydrate. This starch is produced in the leaves of a plant, which by design are generally broad and flat. These are mostly green because of the presence of a green pigment called chlorophyll that helps in capturing sunlight efficiently. Let us find out the role chlorophyll plays in the preparation of food in the form of starch in plants. Activity 10.2. Let us check. Demonstration activity. The teacher may demonstrate this activity. Step 1. Keep a leaf in boiling water for 5 minutes to soften it. Step 2. Dip this leaf in a test tube containing alcohol. Step 3. Place the test tube in a beaker containing boiling water. Wait until the leaf becomes colorless, as given in figure 10.2a. Children, at the bottom of this page on the left-hand side, figure 10.2 is given in two parts. Figure 10.2, starch test in a leaf. Part A. The boiling setup discussed in the step 3 of this activity is given, which is labeled as test tube, water, alcohol, leaf, wire gauze, spirit lamp. And part B, figure 10.2b represents iodine test. A small bottle containing iodine solution is kept here and a leaf is put on a plate. Iodine solution with a dropper is poured on the leaf. Page number 141. Step 4. Take out the leaf and place it on a plate. Step 5. Now put a few drops of diluted iodine solution with the help of a dropper on the decolorized leaf as given in figure 10.2b. Wait for a few minutes and observe. Step 6. If the color of the leaf changes to blue-black, it indicates the presence of starch. Caution message. Alcohol should never be placed near a heat source directly, as it is highly flammable and can easily lead to fire and burns. Children, at the middle of this page an interesting box is given, which is titled as Dive Deeper. This box reads, did you wonder why we decolorize the leaf in the beginning of this activity? Decolorization of a leaf enables us to easily observe color change and thus the presence of starch. In activity 10.1, we have learnt that water and sunlight are essential for plant growth. In activity 10.2, we have discovered that green leaves store starch as food. Bhaskar loves gardening during his free time. Being a curious student, he often looks around his garden and wonders how plants produce food. From his experiences, Bhaskar knows that water and sunlight are essential for plant growth. But he wonders if sunlight contributes to the production of food in the form of starch in plants. At the middle of this page, Bhaskar is asking, how does sunlight contribute in the production of starch in plants? Activity 10.3, let us check. Bhaskar took a leaf having both green and non-green patches from each of two similar potted plants, one kept in sunlight and the other kept in the dark for 36 hours. He wanted to compare the leaves before and after the starch test. He made a sketch of the leaves to record the location of the green and the non-green patches on them with the help of a tracing paper. After that, he performed an iodine test as given in activity 10.2 on the leaves. Bhaskar recorded his observations in table 10.2. Page number 142, table 10.2, presence of starch in green and non-green parts of the leaves of plants. This table presents some observations. This table includes 4 columns and 2 rows. Row 1 and row 2 has 2 cases for 2 separate plants kept in light or dark. In this table, column 1 is serial number, column 2 light conditions for potted plant. In row 1, plant kept in sunlight, a picture is also provided. Row 2, plant kept in the dark, a picture is also provided here. In column 3, initial colors before iodine test. For the first plant, green and non-green patches on the leaf is provided with a picture. For case 2, column 3, initial colors before iodine test. For case 2, green and non-green patches on the leaf is also provided here with a picture. Column 4, final colors after iodine test. For case 1, green patches of leaf turned blue-black. With a picture, it is provided here. For case 2, no change in the color of leaf with a picture is provided here. In table 10.2, Bhaskar recorded a blue-black color indicating the presence of starch on the green patches of the leaf obtained from the plant placed in sunlight. Bhaskar also recorded that the leaf obtained from the plant kept in the dark does not show a blue-black color, even on the green patches, indicating that no starch has been produced. Non-green patches of the leaf obtained from the plant placed in sunlight do not turn blue-black. Does it indicate that there is no chlorophyll present in those patches? The non-green patches may not have sufficient chlorophyll to prepare enough starch to be detected using the iodine test. Children, let's go through an interesting box named as Fascinating Facts, which is provided at the bottom of this page. It highlights fun facts, interesting observations, and curiosity-driven questions. This box reads, some plant leaves appear red, violet, or brown because they contain more of these colored pigments than the green-colored chlorophyll. This hides the green color. Some of these pigments also help in photosynthesis. You can use an iodine test to check for the presence of starch in these leaves, indicating that photosynthesis has indeed taken place. Pictures of various types and colors of leaves are also given inside this box. Majorly, there are 7 pictures of different types of leaves are provided. Page number 143. What do we infer from the observations listed in table 10.2? As we know, leaves are mostly green because of the presence of chlorophyll. We have also seen that the starch is produced where green patches of the leaf are present. We can infer that chlorophyll helps in preparing starch in the presence of sunlight. In fact, it is essential for the preparation of starch. Hence, the leaves are also called food factories of plants. What else is essential for the preparation of food in plants? Let us find out. 10.2.2 Role of air in the preparation of food. Here is a conversation between two children. The boy says, while reading contributions of scientists in plant nutrition, my sister told me that air plays a role in the process of food preparation in plants. Now the girl is asking which gas from the air is essential in the process of food preparation in plants. Activity 10.4 Let us experiment. Demonstration activity. The teacher may demonstrate this activity. Step 1. Take a potted green plant and keep it in the dark for 2 or 3 days to allow it to de-starch, that is, lose any stored starch. Then, locate one leaf of this plant for this experiment. Step 2. Take a wide-mouthed bottle and pour some caustic soda, sodium hydroxide, into it. Caustic soda absorbs carbon dioxide from the air. There is a caution message. Caustic soda is a strong chemical that can cause skin burns. Only teachers should handle it. Step 3. Insert half of the de-starched leaf into the bottle through a split cork, leaving the other half of the leaf outside, and place the bottle as given in figure 10.3a. At the right-hand side of this section, figure 10.3, representing testing the role of chlorophyll and air, is given. It is given in 2 parts. In part A, the setup discussed in step 3 of the activity is given, labeled as de-starched plant and sodium hydroxide solution. In part B, iodine test on the leaf is presented with a picture of a leaf, half green and half bluish black. Page number 144. Step 4. Place the setup in sunlight for a few hours. Step 5. Observe and record the availability of water, sunlight, chlorophyll and carbon dioxide in table 10.3. Step 6. Remove the leaf and test it for starch using the iodine test as it was done in activity 10.2. Step 7. Record your observations in Table 10.3. Table 10.3 Role of air in the preparation of starch by plants. This table includes 6 columns and 2 rows. Column 1 Part of the leaf. This column includes 2 rows. Row 1 Part of the leaf inside the bottle. Row 2 Part of the leaf outside the bottle. Column number 2 Availability of water. Column 3 Availability of sunlight. Column 4 Availability of chlorophyll. Column 5 Availability of carbon dioxide. Column 6 Starch present, yes or no. Students, blank spaces are provided for you to record your observations for all the columns. We notice that the part of the leaf that was outside the bottle turns blue-black, indicating the presence of starch. However, the part of the leaf inside the bottle does not turn blue-black in color, indicating that food is not made in that part of the leaf. This is because the caustic soda solution inside the flask absorbs the carbon dioxide present in the air. What does this experiment show? This experiment shows that carbon dioxide present in the air is essential for plants to prepare starch. Based on activities 10.3 and 10.4, what do you conclude? Which part of the plant is involved in the synthesis of starch? Based on our learning so far, we have found that sunlight, water, chlorophyll, and carbon dioxide are essential for the synthesis of food in plants. This process, by which plants prepare food in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, is called photosynthesis. A leaf is the primary site of photosynthesis. Do other green parts of the plant also perform photosynthesis? Yes, other parts of the plants which have chlorophyll also perform photosynthesis. So far, we have learnt that plants take in carbon dioxide from the air and water and use sunlight to prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. But have you ever thought about what more happens during this process? Do plants only take in substances from their surroundings, or do they also release something? Let us explore this through an experiment performed by Barkha Didi. Page number 145, Activity 10.5. Let us explore. Step 1. Observe Figure 10.4. Compare the two setups labeled as A and B and analyze. Step 2. In Figure 10.4, setup A is placed in sunlight and setup B is placed in the dark. What difference do you observe in the two setups? Do you observe air bubbles emerging in the inverted test tube in setup A? The gas produced in this setup caused bubbles to emerge and get accumulated in the inverted test tube. Which gas is this? Children, at the right-hand side of this activity, figure 10.4, activity showing the release of oxygen during photosynthesis is given. This figure is comparing two setups, setup A and setup B. In both these setups, a beaker filled with water is placed, a plant is submerged into this at the bottom, an inverted funnel is placed over the plant, the open end of the funnel is covered with inverted test tube. Now, setup A is placed in sunlight and setup B is placed in the dark. Children, at the bottom of this page, a conversation between a girl and a boy is provided. Here, the girl says, "Oh yes, I remember. In our science lab, I have seen a similar setup placed under sunlight near a window." The boy adds, "When sufficient gas was accumulated in the inverted test tube, Barkha Didi placed her thumb on the mouth of the test tube while taking the test tube off the setup. She then quickly inserted a lit matchstick into the tube, and the matchstick produced an intense flame." Now the girl adds, "She inferred that the gas in the test tube is rich in oxygen. It indicates that oxygen is released during the process of photosynthesis. It also indicates that photosynthesis occurs in the presence of sunlight. Based on Barkha Didi's experiment, we can conclude that oxygen is released during photosynthesis. Page number 146, 10.2.3 Photosynthesis in a nutshell. We know that water, sunlight, carbon dioxide from the air, and chlorophyll are necessary to carry out the process of photosynthesis that produces carbohydrates, as given in figure 10.5. At the left-hand side of this section, figure 10.5, a diagram representing photosynthesis is provided, which is labeled as green leaves absorb light energy from the sun and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Green leaves have chlorophyll pigment in them. The roots of the plant absorb water and minerals from the soil. After the process of photosynthesis, green leaves release oxygen and carbohydrates or glucose are prepared during the process of photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, food is actually produced in the form of glucose, a simple carbohydrate. This glucose not only serves as an instant source of energy, but also later gets converted into starch for storage. The word equation of photosynthesis is given below. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives glucose and oxygen. Children, there is one another interesting box titled as Know a Scientist is provided at the middle of this page. This box tells us many scientists across the world contributed to develop an understanding of photosynthesis. In India, Rustam Harmozchi Dastur 1896 to 1961 studied the process of photosynthesis. He was a plant scientist and served as the head of the botany department at the Royal Institute of Science, Bombay, now the Institute of Science, Mumbai, from 1921 to 1935. He studied effects of the amount of water and temperature on photosynthesis. He examined the importance of water, temperature, and the color of light in the process of photosynthesis. In this box, the picture of Rustam Harmozchi Dastur is also provided. 10.2.4 How do leaves exchange gases during photosynthesis? We now know that photosynthesis requires carbon dioxide and oxygen is released in the process. Which part of the plant helps in the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen? Let us conduct an activity to understand where the exchange of gases takes place. Page number 147. Activity 10.6. Let us examine demonstration activity. The teacher may demonstrate this activity. Step 1. Collect a leaf from a plant such as rohio, money plant, onion, hibiscus, coleus, or any grass. Step 2. Put it in a beaker filled with water. Step 3. Carefully peel a thin layer from the lower surface of the leaf. Step 4. Place the peel in a watch glass with water. Step 5. Now take a microscope slide and carefully put a drop of water on it. Step 6. Using forceps, transfer the peel of the leaf from the watch glass to the slide with the help of forceps. Step 7. Put a drop of ink on the leaf peel with the help of a dropper. Step 8. Cover the peel of a cover slip and observe it under a microscope. What do you observe? Do you notice tiny pores on the peel as given in figure 10.6? These pores are called stomata. Stomata present on the surface of leaves help in the exchange of gases. On the right-hand side of this page, a microscopic view of stomata on the lower surface of a rohio leaf of size 0.1 mm is provided in figure 10.6. 10.3 Transport in plants. 10.3.1 Transport of water and minerals. All living beings need water to grow. Plants use water in the process of photosynthesis. Water, along with minerals present in the soil, is taken up by the roots of a plant. Minerals are important nutrients for the growth of plants. How do water and minerals taken up by the roots move to all parts of the plant? We can study water transport in plants by carrying out an activity. For this activity, we require 2 glass tumblers, some water, red ink, and twigs of 2 similar tender plants, preferably with white colored flowers, for example, white sadabahar or balsam, as given in figure 10.7. Page number 148, activity 10.7. Let us experiment. Step 1. Take 2 tumblers and label them A and B. Step 2. Fill 1/3 of each tumbler with water. Step 3. Add a few drops of red ink to tumbler B. Step 4. Obliquely cut the stems of both plants at their base while keeping them inside the water. Immediately place one plant in each tumbler as given in figure 10.7a and figure 10.7b. At the left-hand side of this page, figure 10.7 is given. At the left-hand side of this page, figure 10.7 is given, representing experiment to check for water transportation in plants. Figure 10.7a, plant twigs placed in water with different treatments. A with water, B with colored water. Step 5. Observe these plants the next day. What do you notice? Compare the plant stems placed in the tumblers. Do you observe red color in the stem, leaves and flowers of the plant from tumbler B? Figure 10.7c and figure 10.7d represent the plants after one day. On the left-hand side, these figures are also provided. Figure 10.7c, where plant twigs after one day with water is represented, and figure 10.7d, plant twigs after one day with colored water is also represented. Compare the plant in figure 10.7c with that in figure 10.7d. A red color is visible in the stem, leaves and flowers of the plant in figure 10.7d. How did different parts of the plant acquire this red color? Cut the stem from the upper part of the plant that is not immersed in the red colored water. Observe the cut stem using a magnifying glass. Do you spot the red color in the stem, which is given in figure 10.7e? This figure is also provided on the left-hand side. 10.7e, enlarged view of cut end of the twig is represented here. How does the red color ink move upwards? This is due to the thin tube-like structure called the xylem present in the stem, branches and leaves of plants. Just like red ink, minerals dissolved in water also move up the stem through the xylem. Now we know that water and minerals are transported to the leaves and other parts of plants through the xylem, which is given in figure 10.8. At the right-hand side of this section, figure 10.8 is given, which is representing transport of water and minerals in a plant. This figure is labeled as food transport through phloem is indicated with red arrows from leaves to other parts of a plant. Also, water transport through xylem is indicated through blue arrows from soil to other parts of a plant. The water transported through the xylem is used to perform various functions. How does food get transported to other parts of a plant? 10.3.2 Transport of food. We know that leaves are the primary site for photosynthesis. The food prepared by plants in the leaves is transported to all parts of the plant. This food is transported through another set of thin tube-like structures called the phloem, which is given in figure 10.8. The transported food may also be stored in some other parts of a plant, such as seeds and roots. Page number 149. 10.4. Do plants respire? In the grade 6 science textbook Curiosity, chapter Living Creatures, exploring their characteristics, you learned that all living beings respire. Do plants also respire like we do? Activity 10.8. Let us find out. Demonstration activity. Step 1. Soak some moong bean seeds in water overnight. Step 2. Put a layer of cotton in a conical flask as given in figure 10.9 and moisten the cotton with water to keep it wet. Step 3. Place the soaked seeds over the wet cotton in the conical flask. Step 4. Cover the mouth of the conical flask with a cork having 2 holes. Step 5. Fit 2 tubes A and B through the 2 holes on the cork as given in figure 10.9. Step 6. Leave it undisturbed for 24 hours in the dark. Step 7. Take 2 test tubes and fill them with lime water. Step 8. Cover the mouth of one test tube with a cork having 1 hole in it. Step 9. Dip 1 glass tube in the test tube through a hole in the cork. Step 10. Connect the flask and test tube with a rubber pipe as given in figure 10.9. At the right hand side of this page, figure 10.9 is provided, which is representing setup to test respiration in plants. Compare both the test tubes for any change in color. Does the lime water turn milky in both the test tubes? Why does the lime water turn milky in the test tube connected to the flask? Lime water turns milky due to the presence of more carbon dioxide in the flask. But where does this carbon dioxide come from? As we know, carbon dioxide is naturally present in very small quantities in the air. In the flask, additional carbon dioxide is produced by the seeds as they respire. During respiration, glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen, releasing carbon dioxide, water, and energy. The word equation for the process of respiration is as follows. Glucose plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. The energy produced during respiration is used by plants for their growth and development. All parts of a plant, green or non-green, carry out respiration. Thus, plants have different mechanisms for synthesizing, transporting, and utilizing food to get energy. Page number 150. In a nutshell. Children, before coming to the next section, there is a picture which is given on the left-hand side of this section. A cheerful boy is standing inside an open walnut shell. He is holding a paper with some notes written on it. This picture is symbolizing the idea of summarizing the chapter. Now let us summarize this chapter into points. Point number 1. All living organisms require food that provide energy for their growth and development. Point 2. Plants use carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to produce glucose and oxygen. This process of synthesis of food is known as photosynthesis. Point 3. Leaves are the food factories of a plant. Point 4. Tiny pores on the surface of leaves called stomata help in the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide during photosynthesis and respiration. Point 5. The xylem transports water and minerals from roots while the phloem carries food from leaves to all parts of the plants. Point number 6. Plants break down glucose and release energy by a process called respiration. They use oxygen and release carbon dioxide in this process. Children, let us move to the next section of this chapter. Let us enhance our learning. At the left-hand side of this page, an illustration of a girl is given who is encouraging us to participate in this section. The girl is sitting confidently on a block with a question mark. She is holding a word block named as inquiry. She is climbing through a rope and blocks. These blocks are shaped like big stones and has a question word written on each of it. Words like why, what if, where, when, how long, what could, which, question mark, can it, whose, what else, what will happen, why not, what should, are written on these blocks. Children, this picture reminds us to keep asking questions to learn better. Question number 1. Complete the following table. A table including 4 columns and 4 rows is provided here. First column, serial number from 1 to 4. Second column, feature, which lists raw materials, products, word equation, importance. Column 3, photosynthesis. Students may record their observations in this table for each of the row. Column 4, respiration. Blank spaces are provided in this column too. Question number 2. Imagine a situation where all the organisms that carry out photosynthesis on the earth have disappeared. What would be the impact of this on living organisms? Question number 3. A potato slice shows the presence of starch with iodine solution. Where does the starch in potatoes come from? Where is the food synthesized in the plant? And how does it reach the potato? Question number 4. Does the broad and flat structure of leaves make plants more efficient for photosynthesis? Justify your answer. Question number 5. X is broken down using Y to release carbon dioxide, Z and energy. An equation is given. X plus Y gives carbon dioxide plus Z plus energy. X, Y and Z are 3 different components of the process. What do X, Y and Z stand for? Page number 151. Question number 6. Krishna set up an experiment with 2 potted plants of same size and placed one of them in sunlight and other in a dark room, as given in figure 10.10. Answer the following questions. First, what idea might she be testing through this experiment? Second, what are the visible differences in plants in both the conditions? Third, according to you, leaves of which plants confirm the iodine test for the presence of starch? At the right-hand side of this question, figure 10.10 is provided, in which images of 2 experimental pots are provided. A. In the sunlight. B. In the complete dark. Children, before coming to the next question, there is an illustration provided on the right-hand side of this page. A smiling boy is climbing up step by step through a rope ladder. Each step of ladder represents a word like curiosity, exploration, inquiry, discovery, and then innovation. This picture is indicating that these 5 steps lead to innovation. Question number 7. Vani believes that carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. She puts an experimental setup as given in figure 10.11 to collect evidence to start or reject her idea. In figure 10.11, a potted plant with sufficient water is placed under the prescribed conditions is represented through 4 images. A. A plant is placed with sunlight and carbon dioxide. B. Plant is placed in sunlight without carbon dioxide. C. The plant is placed in the dark with carbon dioxide. D. Plant is placed in the dark without carbon dioxide. Now answer the following questions. First, in which plant or plants in the setup discussed previously will starch be formed? Second, in which plant or plants in the setup discussed previously will starch not be formed? Third, in which plant or plants in the setup discussed previously will oxygen be generated? Fourth, in which plant or plants in the setup discussed previously will oxygen not be generated? Question number 8. Ananya took 4 test tubes and filled 3/4 of each test tube with water. She labeled them A, B, C and D as given in figure 10.12. In test tube A, she kept a snail. In test tube B, she kept a water plant. In test tube C, she kept both a snail and a plant. In test tube D, she kept only water. Ananya added a carbon dioxide indicator to all the test tubes. She recorded the initial color of water and observed if there are any color changes in the test tubes after 2-3 hours. What do you think she wants to find out? How will she know if she is correct? At the right hand side of this question, figure 10.12 is provided, where the experimental setup which is discussed in the question are given. Page number 152, question number 9. Design an experiment to observe if water transportation in plants is quicker in warm or cold conditions. Question number 10. Photosynthesis and respiration are essential to maintain balance in nature. Discuss. Before coming to the next section of this chapter, there is an illustration which is provided on the left hand side of this section. An interdisciplinary zigzag rope chart is provided which is depicting that all the areas like history, art, geography, society, technology and economy are integrated. Let's move to the next section and do some integrated projects in this section. First, develop a bottle garden by planting a growing plant like spider plant or jade plant in a large transparent bottle as given in figure 10.13. After growing the plant properly for some time, seal the mouth of the bottle. Observe the growth of the plant. If the plant is growing well, that means the plant is maintaining the exchange of gases. That is, carbon dioxide produced in the process of respiration of the plant is utilized for performing photosynthesis, and oxygen generated in photosynthesis is utilized in respiration by the plant inside the bottle. At the right hand side, figure 10.13, bottle garden. Here, pictures of 2 glass jars in which plants with soil placed inside them are represented. Second, how are plant processes like photosynthesis, respiration and water and food transportation crucial for crop production? Third, visit a greenhouse if there is one near your place. Observe how people grow plants in a greenhouse. Find out how they regulate the amount of light, water and carbon dioxide used to grow plants. Children, at the bottom of this page an interesting box is provided which is titled as Know a Scientist, where students can learn about the contributions of Indian and international scientists related to the relevant topic. This box reads, Kamla Sohane, 1911 to 1998, was a woman scientist of India. She received a PhD degree for her remarkable contribution in the area of respiration in plants from Cambridge University. She returned to India and worked at Lady Hardinge Medical College in New Delhi. and later at the Nutrition Research Laboratory, Coonoor. Thereafter, she moved to then Royal Institute of Science, Bombay, where she was eventually appointed as director. Much of her work helped improve the nutritive values of plant foods. She also worked on the sap of the coconut palm as a nutritive drink called Neera. This chapter ends here.
Curiosity. You were just listening to this audiobook. Textbook of Science for Grade 7. Narration Harsh Priya. Sound recordist Manju Kumari. Production assistant Amarjeet Sarkar. Directed and produced by Vimalesh Chaudhary. This audiobook is brought to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.